Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we have a jam-packed show for you. Velus Jones Jr. just got signed right as we were turning on the camera for today's video, so we'll get you some initial thoughts of that signing to start the show. We got some good injury news coming for your Seattle Seahawks. Monday practice was out and about, and you saw some of those injured players moving. O-line changes in Seattle. A lot of fans think that this should happen. One person in charge doesn't necessarily think so. And then we're going to end the show with, do you think a trade's going to come? You got some big moves going on. We'll get our windy fingers out. Is there something brewing, something happening? Because I don't think Velus Jones Jr. is going to be the only move that your Seattle Seahawks make. Before we get into that, though, I want to make sure that we break the record here since I've taken over the channel at Seahawks Today. Right now in October, we're at 2,400 October subs. In September, we had 2,500 subs. That means that we just need a little over 100 new subscribers to the channel in the last couple of days, and we can beat that September PR mark for myself and for the channel and for you. And make sure that you subscribe, because if you're not subscribed, you're going to miss out on breaking news just like this Velus Jones Jr. signing. And this is coming from Ari Mirov. The Seahawks are signing wide receiver, running back, return specialist Velus Jones Jr., the former Bears third-round pick, spent most of this season with the Saints. And so this has been an interesting signing, I would say, out in Seattle, because Velus Jones Jr. is a good player, I would say. He's a player that has a lot of skills. He also has a lot of issues. Fumbling is the big one that I can think of right now. But he's already spent some time in Seattle. Obviously, he was with the New Orleans Saints, so he was on the active roster, played against your Seattle Seahawks. Here he is looking lovingly into Sam Darnold's eyes, saying, I'm going to sign with the Seahawks right before your game against the Commanders. That's probably not actually what got said, but you never know. I'll be interested to see how the Seahawks use him. Are you going to use him as a return specialist? Do you not think you're getting enough out of Derick Young? Do you think you're not getting enough out of George Halani? Maybe he could go back and return punts. If you don't think you're getting enough out of Torrey Horton, or maybe he's just someone that comes in and you have a couple of different plays designed around him, see what you can do, or does he end up being just more of a space filler for your Seattle Seahawks? Obviously, the Saints moved on from Velus Jones, and that allowed you to go in and sign him. Are you excited for the Seahawks' new signing? A lot of people here at Chat Sports HQ, they're very fired up for your Seattle Seahawks, myself included. So make sure you go down below in the comments and spam Jones. So the Seahawks have obviously been expecting Robbie Ouzts, Derick Hall, Devon Witherspoon, and Julian Love all to return back to this football team after the injuries that they suffered. All four, have missed multiple games now for your Seattle Seahawks because of their different injuries. And on Monday, you got your first look at, well, some of the Seahawks returning back to practice. It looked like you had Robbie Ouzts, Derick Hall, and Julian Love out on the field during the media portion. No Devon Witherspoon during that portion, so that'll be interesting to see where his progression continues to come from the injury report. But Mike Macdonald did seem pretty excited about it. So we can look here at this photo. We've got our boy Derick Hall out and moving about. That's going to be huge, adding into that edge rushing position. I like that he has his helmet on. Obviously, it's a non-padded practice, but just the fact that he has full gear means he was out moving, running around. Don't be shocked if he was even taking some drills. When you have a core injury like he had to that oblique, it takes a long time to recover from that injury. You remember Jadeveon Clowney had a similar type of core injury. Took him a good long while to get ready, rocking and rolling. Julian Love back out on the field as well. I was looking, searching high and low, unable to find any videos of him actually running, just a lot of stretching, light work, things of that nature. You need him back. Right now, when you do have breakdowns in the communication department, it's because he hasn't been out there for your Seattle Seahawks. You need your captain in that secondary back, barking out orders. Tayo Kuda has played well. Kobe Bryant's obviously played well, but they're just not quite Julian Love. The big one offensively is getting fullback Robbie Ouzts back. I'll tell you what, I did a double take when I first saw this picture. Look at his arms. They're massive. No fat on him at all. That's our fullback. That's our fullback one. You're finally going to get to see this offense kind of move back where they need to be, and the rushing attack obviously hasn't been exactly what you'd want it. Well, you've been missing your fullback, so you haven't had your full complement of the backfield. I can't wait to see that offensive unit 100% healthy and see that running game get fixed. We finally get to see what this team can be like at 100% health. I mean, that defense, missing Love and Witherspoon for as many games as they already have been, that just isn't fair. It just isn't fair. So the fact that this team is already 5-2, I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine how good this defense is going to be when you have your 2 stars back, or 2 of your other stars back, I should say? And then offensively, if this rushing attack gets going, you think Sam Darnold's going to get worse? You think Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to get worse? It's only going to get easier because teams are going to have to put more into the box anyways to stop them. I want you to let me know. Seahawks obviously getting some key components back to their team defensively and offensively. Which injured player are you most excited to see? Go down in the comments after you're done spamming Jones. Let me know which player you're most excited to see back. I laughed really hard when I saw this photo, and so I wanted to make sure that I shared it. It's very much a like, you caught me with my hand in the cookie jar. What is this happening? And you might be asking yourself, why did Mike Macdonald make this face? This is coming after he was asked, will there be a change in the offensive line room? Going to be no changes. He was very offended, kind of did a little bit of a, no, there won't be any changes in the way that only Mike Macdonald can. I think a lot of people, myself included, are a little bit upset. Anthony Bradford has not been very good at the right guard spot. When you look at this offensive line right now, Abe Lucas is performing at his extension, if not better. Charles Cross, I want him extended tomorrow. The fact that he hasn't been extended yet does worry me. I understand what the Seahawks process is. He should have already been extended. Gray Zabel, I feel like the rookie has been everything that you could have wanted and then some. Jalen Sundell's been fine. There needs to be some improvement there. But at this point, I'm done with Anthony Bradford. He was supposed to be this big run-blocking force. He's fine in the run-blocking game. His pass pro leaves a lot to be desired. I would love to make a change, but they're not going to make a change because even if Christian Haynes does come back from IR, he got beat out in the beginning of the year by Anthony Bradford before he got hurt. It's extremely frustrating. I would have loved to have seen Oluwatimi maybe get a shot at center, maybe bounce Sundell out to the right guard spot, but I do think it's important to mention this. We are not at practice every day. We are not in the film room every day. So we don't know how well everyone else is playing behind Anthony Bradford, right? So if Anthony Bradford is the guy that's starting, that means everybody else that you have there is performing poorly or even more poorer than Anthony Bradford, which would lead me to, hey, why don't we go make a move? Why don't we go make a change? Why don't we try and find an offensive lineman that we could place in there instead of Anthony Bradford to help push this team forward? Because it's clear to me you have a special team. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But before we do, I want to talk to you about my good friends over at Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. If your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I have a little 2-pick power play here. Sam Darnold against the Commanders defense, more on his passing yards. George Pickens against the Cardinals defense, more on his receiving yards. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Wendy and me, we got our hands up because something might be going on in Seattle. Remember, that trade deadline is very closely approaching. It's right around the corner. And a lot of people have had links to the Seahawks, or at least have had rumors. I've reported on a few of them here at Seahawks Today. But there hasn't been anything concrete yet. But don't forget, John Schneider, he really likes to make moves at the very last minute. Look at Leonard Williams. That was a big signing that you had just 2 years ago. You had a trade. John Schneider went in, talked with the New York Giants, found a way to get Leonard Williams over to you. It's paid massive dividends for your Seattle Seahawks defensive line. Ernest Jones IV. That was the big signing that you had last year. Make the big trade, bring him in, and the defense completely changed. The defense became something that most people hadn't seen before. They became special. They became a strong group. So that makes me wonder. That makes me go to my windy fingers. If he's hit on the last 2 trade deadlines and it's clear he's not afraid to make a move, is John Schneider up to something? This seems like the perfect time for him to do so. Ari Mirov, the guy who just reported on the Velus Jones Jr. signing, he went out and he was on a podcast and he said that he believes someone in the NFC West is going to make a big move, whether it be the Rams, the 49ers, or the Seahawks. Well, if I'm the 49ers, everyone and their mother is hurt. I don't know if they have an opportunity to make a big trade. So that just means it's the Rams and the Seahawks. And that guy right there on the screen, he's shown me that he can be active from time to time. Head coach Mike Macdonald was asked at his Monday press conference, will the Seattle Seahawks make a trade? Are they talking to people? He said this directly right below me. We are always active. And then he gave a nice big smile after he said it. That tells me that there are at least things happening behind the scenes. The Seahawks are trying to make a move. They're looking for someone that they can come in and bring in and help elevate this team. I think they've proven over the last couple of years that when they do make a trade this close to the deadline, it pays off for your Seahawks. So make sure that you're locked in to see if the Seahawks make a move. And the best way to do that is by subscribing to the channel here at Seahawks Today, because the minute that there is breaking news for your Seattle Seahawks, I will make a video. And the best part is, all of my content is always free right here on YouTube. You won't want to miss out. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time.